What do you think the chances are of us having a lesson about percents? I'd say they're pretty good. Probably like 100%. Interesting. Medicine, vitamins. Some recommended daily intakes of vitamins are shown, and there are different values for males and females. Carrie, who sounds a little bit like a female to me, is consuming 10 milligrams of niacin, and her brother, who is a male, consumed 11 milligrams of niacin. Who consumed the greater percent of the recommended intake, and how do you know? Well, here's Carrie. 10 milligrams out of how many milligrams is she supposed to? Looks like 14. And then her unnamed brother is consuming 11 milligrams, and he is supposed to have 16 milligrams. So consumed out of total should give us a value, like what part out of how much they're supposed to. So let's take a looky look. Looky look. 10 milligrams out of a total of 14 milligrams you're supposed to take is 0.714, which if you express that as a percent, you just move the decimal over 2 to the right. 71.4%. So this is 71.4% of her recommended niacin. What about brother? He consumes 11 out of a required 16. So that would be 68 point, we would round up to 8, 68.8%. So even though brother is consuming more milligrams, sister is actually doing a better job of meeting her needs because she's getting 71.4% of her needed niacin, and my brother is only getting 68.8%. Come on, dude, eat some niacin already. So, the problem we just did involves percents. Percents are useful because they standardize comparisons. That means we can compare things of different quantities to a common base of 100. We can compare anything to out of 100. And really that's what percent means. Per means divided by or out of. Cent means 100. So percent means out of 100 or divided by 100. You will solve percent problems in a variety of ways. Are you looking forward to it? I am. So, we can solve them using proportions or the percent equation. And those two things are closely related, but you'll see they're totally different fun things to do. So, if you write a percent as a fraction, you can use a proportion to solve the percent problem. Key concept. Take notes. The percent proportion. You can represent A is P% of B using the percent proportion shown below. In the proportion, B is the base and A is a part of the base. So A is a part of the base B. A over B equals P over 100. Right? A out of B equals P out of 100. That is the percent proportion. And we can use that to solve for percents. So like what percent of 50 is 25? 25 out of 50 is P out of 100. And then you cross multiply. So that would give you 50p equals 2500 and divide by 50. And you would get P equals, some zeros would cancel, 5 goes into 250 like 50 times, so 50%. 25 is half of 50, that is 50%. And here's you can see for y'all visual learners, you can see this little model that shows you how 25 out of 50 is half of 100%. So this is using this picture, you can also set up this proportion. 25 out of 50 is P out of 100. So, what percent of 56 is 42? How can a model help you visualize this proportion? So, what percent of 56 is 42? Our base is 56 and our part is 42. So 42 out of 56 is going to be P out of 100. Alright, so the part out of the base equals the percent out of 100. And then we're going to cross multiply. 42 times 100 equals 56. Then we're going to divide both sides by 56. And we get P is 75. So 42 is 75% of 56. That's the proportion dealio. So what percent of 90 is 54? Pause and see if you can figure that out. Push play when you're ready to get the verdict. Okay, so if we were going to draw a picture of this, we would have, what percent of 90 is 54? We would have 90 here, and then 54 would be there, and then P would be here. So 54 out of 90 is what percent out of 100? So I can set that up as 54 over 90 equals P over 100. So when I cross multiply, 90P equals 5400. Divide both sides by 90, and P equals 5400 divided by 90 is 60. So P equals 60, which means that 54 is 60% of 90. So in problem 1, we used the percent proportion to find the percent. When you write P over 100 as P percent and solve for A, you would get this equation. Let me show you. A over B equals P percent. And if you multiply both sides by B, you get A, because these B's cancel out, equals P percent times B. So the percent proportion and the percent equation are related, and you can use either one to find a percent. So the percent equation is, if you can represent A as P percent of B using the percent equation shown below. By the way, B can't be 0. P percent of 0 is going to be 0. So if you were looking at it like this, what percent of 50 is 25? You would say 25 is what percent of 50? And here's the model. Let's see a problem. What percent of 40 is 2.5? I'm going to use the percent equation. This is the part, and this is the base. So what percent of 40 is 2.5? 2.5 is the part, 40 is the base. So 2.5 is what percent of 40? Then we can divide both sides by 40. And we get 0.0625 equals P percent. So to convert the decimal into a percent, you move the decimal over twice. 6.25% equals P percent. So 2.5 is 6.25% of 40. Let's see if you can do that. Pause the video and try it out. Alright, so what percent of 84 is 63? 63 is the part, that's A. 84 is the base, that's B. So A equals P percent of B. 63 equals P percent times 84. Divide both sides by 84. (63) divided by 84 is 0.75. 0.75 equals p percent. This decimal expressed as a percent is 75%. So that means that 63 is 75% of 84. Okay, so we use the percent equation to solve it. Now let's use the percent proportion. A over B equals P over 100. So 63 over 84 equals P over 100. 84 times P is 84P. 63 times 100 is 6300. Divide both sides by 84. And 6300 divided by 84 is 75. So P equals 75%. Cool. They're the same answer. Isn't that weird? Doodlebug is your secret word, secret phrase, doodlebug. A dress shirt that normally costs $38.50 is on sale for 30% off. What is the sale price of the shirt? So, can we use a model to help us visualize finding a part or base? Why, of course we can. 30% is 30 out of 100. The total price is $38.50, so we just want to find out what A is. What's that part? So, we can use the percent equation. A equals P percent times B. A is what we want, so that's just going to stay A. We know the percent, that's 30. And this is how we're going to find the discount. If we do 30% times $38.50, that'll give us the discount. So this is really like D, if you ask me. The discount is 30% times $38.50. But 30% written as a decimal is 0.30. Then you do 0.30 times $38.50 and you get the discount is $11.55. Is that the sale price of the shirt? No, that's the discount. So in order to find the sale price of the shirt, we need to take the original price minus the discount. Let me just show you something. Can I show you something real quick? I want to show you another way you could do this. This is the way that I would do it. Just me, just saying. Here's my regular price. If I'm getting 30% off, how much am I paying? There's a total of 100% for the regular price. If I take 30% off of that, how much percent is left that I'm paying? I'm paying 70%. So if I wanted to find out the actual price, the price would be 70% of the original price. So it would be 0.70 times 38.50. And then when you do 0.70 times 38.50, you get $26.95, which is the price. 26.95. I just like to do that because it's more like a one-step deal. Right? Instead of saying, well, I'll find out what 30% is and then I'll subtract it off the price, which works, I can say if I'm taking 30% off, I'm actually paying 70%. So what's 70% of the original price? That's what I'm going to pay. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. How about this got it? Pause, see if you got it. A family sells a car to a dealership for 60% less than they paid for it. They paid $9,000 for the car. For what price did they sell the car? Well, let's see, can we draw a thingy here? There's 100%, 60% less than that. This would mean there's 60% over here, and that means there's 40% right there. So this is really 40. If we're going 60% less than that. And what do we have? $9,000. So we want to find out what this amount is. So I can do either the proportion or the equation. Let's do the proportion, just to mix it up. A over 9,000 equals 40 over 100. Well, that line came out of somewhere weird. Technology, you can be such a stinker sometimes. Alright, so A times 100 is 100A, and that equals 9,000 times 40, which is 36 with 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros behind it. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 100, and that's going to take 2 zeros off here. So the price they sold it for is $3,600. Nito bandito. You could have also done it like this. A equals P% times B. A equals 40% times 9,000. Because if it's 60% less, then we're paying 40%. That equals 0.40 times 9,000. And 0.40 times 9 grand is 3,600. So either way you go, it is $3,600. Cars, never a good investment. But hey, you have to get from A to B, don't you? You do. That's the answer. You do. Ooh, finding a base. 125% of what number is 17.5? Will 125% of a number be greater than the number? Why, yes it will. Here's 100%. Over there is 125%. So 125% of what number is 17.5? And we can use that to set up a ratio or an equation. Let's use the percent equation. Can I just tell you something? Here's something that I like to do. When I do these problems, I like to remember how to translate between a percent math equation and or percent word equation and math. Percent, remember I told you percent means out of 100? So 125% means 125 divided by 100. Of always means times in math. What number, I should make this the dot because what number is going to be the variable, right? So what number, I'll call that n, is always means equals. And then 17.5. That's another way to do it. It's just to translate it. Of always means times, is always means equals, what number always means variable, and then the other things are numbers. Percent always means out of 100. So 125 out of 100 is 1.25. And then if you divide both sides by 1.25, you would get 17.5 divided by 1.25. 14. So this right here would be 14. Now let's see the textbook's way of doing it. Here's your equation. The part equals the percent times the base. The part is what we're looking. No, the part is 125% of what number is 17.5. That's the part. The percent is 125. We want to find B. 125% is 1.25. Divide both sides by 1.25, and B is 14. So 125% of 14 is 17.5. Pause, see if you got it. All right, 30% of what number is 12.5? So the textbook way is A equals P percent times B. 30% of what number? So that's the base, that's the percent, and that's the part. 12.5 equals 30% times B. 30% is 0.30. Divide both sides by 0.30, and you gon' get 12.5 divided by 0.3 is 41.666666666, which is 41 2/3. So 41 2/3 is B. So what if you use the proportion? Percent proportion. A over B equals P over 100. So that would be 12.5 over B equals 30 over 100. So 30 times B is 30B, and that is equal to 12.5 times 100, which is, when you multiply by 100, you move the decimal over twice. So 30B equals 1250. Divide by 30, and you get B equals, and if we're going to use a calculator, we're going to get the same answer. 1250 divided by 30 is 41.6666666, which is 41 2/3. But if we simplify, we can say this is 125 times 10. 30 is 3 times 10. So B is 125 over 3. And then how many times do you think 3 is going to go into 125? I bet you it's 41. What is 41 times 3? 41 times 3 is 123. So that is 41, and if you do 125 minus 123, you got 2 left over. 41 2/3. Ding! Okay, so a common application of percents is simple interest, which doesn't really happen in real life, but is a good introduction to what really happens, which is compound interest, which you will get into maybe later in the year. If not, definitely in Algebra 2. So interest you earn only on principal. Only on principal. So simple interest formula is given below, where I is the interest, P is the principal, and R is the annual interest rate written as a decimal. That's important. T is the time in years. In years is important. All right. I equals, interest equals principal times rate times time. If you invest $50 at a simple interest rate of 3.5% per year for 3 years, the interest you earn is the principal, 50, times the interest rate as expressed as a decimal, which means move the decimal place 2 to the left, so that's why it's 0.035, times the time in years. So you will earn $5.25 in 3 years. Congratulations. You are now rich. When you solve problems involving percents, it is helpful to know fraction equivalence. Remember how I knew that 0.666666666 was 2/3? See how helpful that was? Here are some common ones. You should put those in your notes, and you should get used to them by having them stick in your brain using what I like to call memory. Memorize those. I dare you. Here is a problem. You deposit $840 in a savings account. That is your principal. I am your teacher. Not your principal. Anyway, that was a joke. You earn a simple interest rate of 4.5% per year. You want to keep the money in the account for 4 years. So this is T. T equals 4. So let's see what we got here. We got P equals 840. We've got T equals 4 years. We've got R equals, as a decimal, back twice. So we're going to have 0.045, 0.045. And our equation is I equals PRT. I equals 840 times 0.045 times 4. Calculator. 840 times 0.045 times 4 is $151.20. $151.20. Is that reasonable? Let's see. 4.5% is about 5%. And in your notes, you have written down that 5% is 1 out of 20. So, does that make sense? If I do 840 times 1 out of 20 times 4, what is that about? 840 times 1 divided by 20 times 4 is 168, which is pretty close. If you do this and you get like the decimal off, if you get $15 here and you get $168 there, then you're like, whoa, what happened? Maybe I didn't move my decimal over enough. So this is how we can check our reasonability. What was it, 168-ish? So, pretty close. I'm okay with that. Alright, so see if you got it. I'll be waiting to do this problem in green ink. Go ahead and pause. I'll just wait right here until you're ready. Push play, and then I'll go. Hey, welcome back. You deposited $125 in a savings account. That's your principal. It earns a simple interest rate of 1.75% per year. So your rate is, move this back twice, rate is 0.0175. You earned a total of 8.75 in interest. That's your interest. $8.75. How long was your money in the account? So we want to solve for T. Our equation is I equals PRT. I is 8.75. I know that sounds like bad grammar. I is 8.75. It means I am 8.75. No, it's I the variable. I'm not actually 8.75. I'm actually 36.9. P, at the time of recording this video, I'm 36.9. P is 125. I don't know how old I am when you listen to this video. It could be years from the time I recorded it. The rate is 0.0175, and time is t, what we want to find out. Let me simplify the right side just a bit by multiplying 125 times 0.0175. So that is 2.1875. 2.1875 t. To get t by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 2.1875. 2.1875, because 2.1875 divided by 2.1875 is 1. And I get, calculator, 8.75 divided by 2.1875 is 4 years. Oh, such a long time to get. I waited so long and it's only $8.75. I could have mowed one lawn in like a half an hour and earned that. Interest. Psh, please. So here's a summary. You want to find a percent? You can use the proportion or the equation. You want to find a part? You can use the proportion or the equation. You want to find a base? You can use the proportion or the equation. It's your life, man. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Do the one you like the best. Well, calculator.